guys and welcome back to the channel. This is a video of how a trip to Preikestolen can be like. I really hope I can inspire you to go because it's such an amazing place. So it's July 2020 and if you remember right, it's right when Corona is on its top. It was completely allowed to travel, people just didn't do it, but I'm not a normal person, I guess. And I kind of just decided to just go. As I said with my own words, I just packed my things and I decided 1 week before I went that I just needed to go there, so I did. Yeah, I always do my trips a bit different. I usually choose to do it as cheap as possible, plus with my backpack so I can set up my tent and enjoy the nature as much as possible. So I'm pretty sure my story is a bit different than your trip might be, but let me just jump into it. So I took the train to Copenhagen, I took the flight to Stavanger, and it was a lot of hours with a face mask on. However, there was absolutely empty at the airport and it was pretty cool to walk around and pretty much have the place for myself. It was the first time I was gonna have my backpack with me on the flight and it was actually pretty easy. So don't be afraid to take your backpack with you on the flight. So when I came to Stavanger, I of course chose to spend a whole day there. It's an amazing city and I would highly recommend to just relax and eat some good food here. So the next day I took the bus to the Pulpit Rock. It's pretty easy, you can take the bus directly from Stavanger to the Pulpit Rock. And when you get there, the trail is just right in front of you. So I had my backpack on and I had a lot of food and water to cover me because there is no sources up there. So I did have a lot of weight on my back. So yeah, I was pretty exhausted hiking up this trail. So the trail of course felt way longer than it is. I saw a map on the way up and I thought I was almost there. As you can see, I was not. So I don't remember exactly how far up the trail is, so I'm gonna put some stats up here so you can see what the hike is like going up and what you're gonna put yourself through. It's really worth it and the way up is beautiful as well. So the most amazing thing happened. I turned a corner and then there, the view were. I made it to the Pulpit Rock. I was absolutely taken back from the view. It's exactly as the picture shows. Thank you. By this time I had all my clothes on. It was cold, but it was also very windy. And I was pretty much cold for the next 20 hours straight. That's the thing with mountains. You forget, or I did, that it gets cold the further up you go. One of the first things I saw beside the amazing view was a sign saying no camping. And my heart stopped. However, the no camping sign is just on the Pulpit Rock. You can camp on the hills beside it. You can go a bit up and there will be some green areas away from the trail you can camp at, and that's what I did. You are never quite alone wherever you choose to camp, but it is as alone as you can get compared to the millions of people that visit the Pulpit Rock every year. As the time went, there was less and less people up on the mountain. And when it hit dinner time, I was pretty much up there alone. But I did pray the price for this amazing view and having it all by myself. The weather got really cold. It was around 3 degrees, and with not enough clothes or a good sleeping bag, I was absolutely freezing and had the worst night ever. I don't know if you know the feeling, but I'm one of the people that really needs to absorb the surroundings, so I really needed time to just enjoy the view. I don't know if you know the feeling, but that's how I am. So I used all day up there, but I didn't want to be on the rock itself, so I can highly recommend go up and above to see the Pulpit Rock. And not a lot of people did that, and I went up so far that I actually had the view all by myself. I didn't know what to do at the time, so I actually ended up counting, and there were around 150 people on the rock at the same time. After some time, I really started to feel a bit alone. I used to just be hiking all day and enjoy the views, but now I just had to enjoy the views and just sit there. So it started to become difficult for me to enjoy what was in front of me. So around 4 p.m. I decided to pack up my stuff and go back down. When you come down from the trail, there is this big hotel, and I can highly recommend spending one night there. It's very expensive, but it's definitely worth it. It was not planned for me to stay there, so I was lucky to get the second last bunk, and I was truly grateful. I hurried down, and the first thing I did was to turn on the heater, and I felt like I melted completely, and I could now focus. And I quickly found a trail that went down from this camp spot and all the way down to the fjord. It was no-brainer. I was gonna hike this trail. There's a beautiful map that you can see all different kind of hikes you can take there, and I would definitely recommend hiking there because not a lot of people do it, and you have more place and time for yourself. So my plan was to go to Lysebotn, and that's why I chose to do this hike. I seriously only met 2 people while I was hiking it. However, again, it was a difficult hike, and you have to be able to go down some really steep stretches, but it's completely worth it. So it's beautiful to take the ferry. It's an absolutely must. It took 2 hours to take the ferry to Lysebotn, and on the way it slowed down a couple of times so we could see some waterfalls and amazing views, and we could see the Pulpit Rock from down low. It was so cool. The ferry stops by some small different towns, but one of the places I can recommend getting off is Ferry, and that's mainly because of the famous 4,444 steps you can climb. So Lysebotn is absolutely a must-see. There are a lot of camping spots. It's not that expensive, and you can get a very cool shower, a kitchen and a restaurant. A lot of people that goes to Lysebotn is because they want to visit this place. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not even gonna try to. I did wanted to go there, but at the same time I just couldn't shake the feeling of being a bit alone and discouraged on this trip, so I actually decided to just relax a whole day, enjoy the views and read my book. But of course I did take a shuttle, which is some Danish people that owns it, and they could drive me up the long steep road up to a viewpoint where the trail to the rock starts. I did hike up the first mountain. There are 3. So I just wanted to get a look and a feel of how the trail is. It is known as being very difficult. You can't see it, but that is straight up. I have to use a whole day hiking up this trail, and it's not easy. I would not recommend it unless you are a really tough hiker. So after 3 days, I was ready to take the ferry. I read about a trail that should be pretty good, that I wanted to hike just to get the last out of the adventure. However, I would not recommend hiking this trail, but I did not know that. So I took the ferry to Sandnes. I hitchhiked into the city, and from here you could go directly to the trail. I hiked for like 6 kilometers and figured out pretty fast that I was not gonna hike this trail. It was muddy, and when I fell, I just had enough. So I started to turn around and go back again, and I found a small spot that I thought could be okay for the night. A little fun one, I woke up to a sheep calling outside my tent. That was a great way to wake up, and the morning started okay. I went back down to Sandnes. There is not a lot to see in the city, so I straight went up to my room. It's kind of a hostel where you have to get a code so you can get inside the building and then go up to my room. However, when I came inside, I could hear the fire alarm. It was very loud, and I had to call the fire department. They had to come, they had to search the whole building. They found where the fire had started. It was nothing special. I found out that the people that owns the hostel is not good people. I pretty much just wanted to get away, but I had already paid for it, and yeah. A little side note, I don't know if you've seen this in the background. This little thing is called Lyse, and this is the beginning of a long tradition that I have had since this trip. Every time I go out hiking and I'm alone, instead of feeling so alone, I buy a hiking buddy. Lise was my hiking buddy in Norway, and when you will see my next videos, you will see what kind of hiking buddies I'm gonna have. So I hope you enjoyed this video. The next one is going to Preikestolen in Sweden. It's absolutely one of the best places on earth and my favorite trail I've ever been on. So I hope to see you next time, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!